Heyo, I'm Jessie Janae, co-founder and CEO of Lumi, and we care about packaging. And you're watching Unboxing Things, a show where we unbox brands and show you and explain everything about what makes their packaging tick. So, let's see what brand is sitting on my doorstep today. Today, folks, we have Uncommon James. Uncommon James has blown up online. If you haven't caught it, they're shipping everyday and statement jewelry direct to your doorstep. I'm going to use my incredible powers of observation to tell you that this is not a box. This is actually a mailer, a shipping mailer, and not just any shipping mailer, but a hard shell bubble mailer. Hard shell bubble mailers are mailers where you can actually see the bubble structure from the outside because they're laminated together in such a way where when you look at it, you can see the exterior of the bubbles. You can compare and contrast this to a soft shell bubble mailer where it's actually a bubble sheet that's laminated with a piece of plastic, but it looks more pillowy and soft. You can't actually see the outlines of the bubbles. This type of mailer has cushioning in it, hence the bubbles. And the bubbles actually protect what's inside from getting too much impact. Also, I can feel that there's basically a box-like structure inside. The mailer would then prevent that structure from being dented before it arrives to your doorstep. You might think that's all I have to say about mailers, but it's not, because there's more to think about. There's a couple more things that are important. One, this is easy to use in fulfillment. It's really fast to fill because you don't have to take a box and assemble it or tape it or construct it in any way. You just pull out this mailer, open the flap, put your object in, and then boom, you're ready to ship it. The other thing is how much space it takes up. Brands get billed for their shipment to go through transit all the way through the carrier to your doorstep by how much space it takes up in addition to how much it weighs. That system is called dimensional weight shipping. Look up dimensional weight shipping for a popular carrier like UPS, and you can find out exactly how much someone is saving by cutting down on the inches and not just the lbs. For all those reasons and more, brands select mailers instead of corrugate when it makes sense for the item. It makes sense for the item when the item is not too fragile. Some things like wine or something else breakable need a box. You're not going to put a camera into a mailer and just see what happens. This mailer is shut with an adhesive, and on the other side you've got your shipping label. You want a shipping label to be on one surface of a package. You don't want it folding over the edge. That can always create scanning issues with the barcode. So this is really clean, plenty of space. Now this mailer is branded. It says Uncommon James. It means it's custom to Uncommon James. They probably have to order in the tens of thousands of this mailer in order to get their branding on it. The equipment that makes mailers like this run at incredible speeds. They actually fly through material really fast. It prints, it cuts, it laminates, it puts the bubbles in all in one kind of big swoop. And so you can't turn on those machines and run them with custom printing and getting everything going for small runs. And this flap has adhesive on it. I can tell it was a peel and seal. Peel and seal means that it came to Uncommon James Distribution Center with a little piece of paper that you can peel off that exposes the adhesive so that in fulfillment, when you're working at that distribution center, you can just close it and then boom, it's easy, it's done. You don't need additional tape or additional glue. The other thing you can see here is that they didn't print this piece of the mailer. It's white instead of black. This is because the adhesives for peel and seal flaps usually work less well or not at all on the printed surface. So they leave this little edge unprinted so the adhesive sticks really well. I'm going to use my blade to actually just open this up. And then I'm going to take my box out. You can tell inside my mailer that I can see the bubbles, and I can also see the white of the material. The white of the material is actually this outside surface showing through because the bubbles themselves are clear. This mailer has done its job because this box arrived to me with no dents, nicks, or scratches. This is a rigid box, and rigid boxes are primarily made out of paper, but they're kind of a more complex construction. It's not just kind of printed in a big box machine like corrugate. It actually requires assembly. And this box also has a magnet in it. Hear that snap? That's the magnet snapping into gear. So there's a magnet embedded in this surface and embedded in this surface as well that actually creates that click. Really beautiful user experience, but it does also mean that you should encourage your customer to keep this box because it is harder to recycle with those magnets embedded into the paper. You can cut the magnet pieces away and recycle the rest of the box if you'd like, because all the paper-based components are just that, paper. In addition to the logo on the outside, which is debossed, meaning that the surface is not pushed in, but I can actually see that it's raised slightly, you've got your beautiful Uncommon James logo in black, and when you open up here, there's more custom printing. This printing is not actually debossed, but it says, warning, these jewels may cause envy. So it's kind of fun, cute brand messaging right when you open the box. These printed papers are actually printed before the box is assembled. So this box is not printed while it's being cut, again, unlike corrugate can be, but these papers are printed and then laminated over this pressed paper board, which is basically compressed paper made into a rigid surface until you get this beautiful finish. So it's like paper that's been compressed, covered with more printed paper, making like a big paper sandwich that is also printed and also beautiful and becomes something really durable. Let's go further. I've got a little collateral card here, got the Uncommon James logo. It also has like a marble kind of printing to it and this is also just paper, but it is glossy. Even though it's glossy, still recyclable, so this can be recycled alongside any other paper products that you have. And it gives us some more information about the brand. Founded and creatively directed by Kirsten Cavallari, Uncommon James is a collection of timeless, effortless, and sophisticated jewelry for women on the go. There's contact information on the back of this, so this is just a good way of understanding the brand and also how you can get in touch. And then the main attraction. So in here, you've got tissue paper, really beautifully folded. And if I open it like that and like that, I've got a little baggie that is actually kind of velvety. And then in there, I actually have my product. I ordered some earrings. They're pretty snazzy. And then there's this rigid card inside the bag about how to care for my jewelry items. So this creates some structure for the bag, protects my earrings a little bit, and also serves the purpose of explaining how to care for the jewelry. So this card alongside the collateral card, alongside the tissue paper can all be recycled because they're all paper-based products. But you're probably gonna keep this rigid box and also keep this little baggie for your actual jewelry too. This looks like it's either a heat transfer or a screen print. A screen print would be squeegeeing ink through a screen, and a heat transfer is something that gets cut out on a plotter and then actually applied with a heat press so it kind of bonds. The tissue paper is folded in such a way that it actually fits right into the box. Something you might not know is that tissue can be ordered in pre-cut and pre-folded dimensions. This is really helpful because when you are trying to fill a box like this, if it was just a giant sheet of tissue paper, you'd be smushing it all together to get your item into the box. The paper actually might be too big, so you'd be cutting it. None of that is gonna work in professional fulfillment. In a fulfillment operation, if you're gonna use tissue, you need it to be the right size. This is also optimized for very little waste because this sheet is not very big. This is the maximum size of this sheet. When you fold it down, it's a perfect size to actually go into this box. Also packed into my bubble mailer was a packing slip. Simple 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Again, easy to recycle alongside the other paper-based products. All in all, Uncommon James is making it really fun to receive my jewelry and giving me a few items I can keep in my jewelry drawer. I think it's time to roll in the recap. Uncommon James, doing some really uncommon things with their packaging, I'd say, and I'm gonna bring your attention to a few of my favorite things. First up, it's low profile. This mailer can ship in a low profile way. It's not taking up as much space as a box, and I love that, very efficient. It's also giftable. The Uncommon James packaging suite makes me feel like I'm receiving a gift, and whether I'm buying it for myself or buying it for someone else, all the little details from the tissue paper to the beautiful rigid box makes me feel like I'm receiving a gift. And lastly but not leastly, it's monochrome. They're kind of going for an understated cool. I like how this is matte black and also white, very simple. And then this has a little bit of sheen to it, but it's actually just black and white as well. So really simple, it allows my eye to go right to the jewelry once I open it up. This has been Uncommon James Unboxed.